In the last episode of Hermitcraft, I completely ran out of all of my iron supply. And I'd realised that all I'd done so far was a tiny bit of caving and a lot of branch mining. And this is 1.18, the Caves and Cliffs update. And so I set off out into a mountain just to gather up lots of coal and iron and various other supplies I found on my travels too. And then I was reminded of the magic and beauty of these caving systems. So this wasn't part of the plan. I was just going to grab a whole bunch of iron and crack on with things, but I think we need to have a little fun exploring together here, as this is starting to get real interesting. Look at this lush cave. I am experiencing it now properly for the first time in survival, and it is glorious. I especially love this opening here. And then what looks like a little bit of a statue or monument in the middle just naturally formed there. Oh, so very cool. And because it's in the cold biome, the grass looks like really majestic on top of the moss here. Anyway, it goes deeper down, so let's take a plunge and find out where this cave is going to take us to. It's looking really epic, isn't it? This feels extremely risky. I am just at the absolute mercy of this water. I can barely see where the bottom is. Ah, here we go. The dynamic lighting coming to the rescue there. And someone else has been through this spot already. But look at the view. It's kind of almost hard to tell just how big these caves are when they're unlit. Oh, and this goes way, way down. Oh boy. Look at these views. Dang. Right, someone has been here before. They've left a nether portal behind. I am noticing there is considerably less iron now that I've head further down. Whoa, that just opened up. Dang, this one goes deep. Ooh, is that dripstone caves over there as well? I've actually found some already on my travels. Hello. So while I'm here, I kind of want to pick up like a little bit of everything that I need to find on these travels. Like, I need some of those up there. And this season of Hermitcraft, they're not craftable like the last, I'm pretty sure. Which means every time you want to use one of these, you're going to have to gather it uniquely off the ceiling, right? Spore Blossom, yes, I just looked it up on the wiki, and there is no way to farm it other than gathering it out here in the wild, which is a lot of work if you want a lot of them. And although I came here for iron and coal, I kind of really want to see how far down this cave goes, and also get myself some more dripstone. I did get a little bit already, as I mentioned. I am going to descend the deadly way. Oh wow, this is bad news for these little fishies. They're falling down below as well. Oof, here we go. And down here I'm greeted by a glow squid. And fortunately not too many other mobs. Yeah, look, they're falling off the edge and dying. Wow, look at that over there. Hey, hey, I see my friend, Mr. Axolotl. Gotcha. That's awesome. I'll tell you what I really do want to do this season is get a whole bunch of them and take them to an ocean monument. I'm pretty sure I didn't get around to doing that last season. These caves are so massive, I may have underestimated how many torches you need to bring with you. At this rate, I'm going to run out of all the wood I've brought with me. Look at this, it's literally a fish farm. They don't stop dropping. I've been putting torches down all over the place here, and it barely starts to show the scope of this. Mojang have really knocked it out of the park. This is just so different. It feels like caving has been reinvented. Well, it continues down to the deep slate level. I don't think I can even comprehend how big and open this is. God, it's humongous. I lost my axolotl trying to find a quicker way down here. Unfortunately, that guy fell to his death. This is not a good time to run out of torches. I feel rather precarious down here. Oh, goodness me. Where am I being shot from? Oh, that almost blew up my ender chest. Oh, I'm cornered. I feel like I'm in a lot of trouble. Help me out. Make them take some damage. I have lost my shield, but my reward is diamonds. Oh, how about a few more? I'll take them. Oh my goodness me. Oh, how big is this? God, what could you do with this kind of space underground, right? Like, we can have the Hermitcraft communal area down in this cave. It's bonkers. Alright, monumental views. Looking absolutely incredible around here. But do you know what I have just found? Yes, this is an iron ore vein. And one of the ways that we can tell is not only is there iron ore next to tuff, we got the iron ore block. What is this called again? I always need a reminder. Raw iron, yes. Raw iron. I think what we should do is try and mine out the whole vein, or as much of it as we can, in one go. It looks like it extends all the way back here, and see how much iron we can get from it. So this took me about 20 minutes in total to get all of the iron and tuff out of what I thought was the whole of the ore vein. One of the problems was that the ore vein would intersect other blobs of tuff, so eventually you'd find like tons of it together with no iron in. It was pretty fun to do. I think Mojang have made a really fun mining activity with this one, and I also think I spotted another ore vein nearby. So just around the corner here, there's a big old blob of tuff with some iron in and more of it up there, so I think I'm going to mine this one out as well. But let me show you what we got from that ore vein. It's everything right here. So that translates to a lot of iron once we use fortune. Also got some diamonds and a few other things too. Well, that one turned out to be a lot smaller than I would have liked. This is all that I got from it. So I've had a fun caving adventure, but I need shulker boxes because it's going to be tricky to get most of this stuff back. I'm probably going to leave all of the tuff behind, and I also just want to go around and fish out, like there's lots of redstone here on the surface, so I want to grab all of that before I leave. Navigating out of here has been somewhat insane, but finally a sign of somewhere that I was earlier. Also, for these caving trips you could really bring a boat along with you. I find quite a lot of these water aquifers everywhere. Hey look, I can get myself another axolotl after we lost one earlier. This time I'm going to pick you, buddy. Well, it's taken me some time, but I've finally found my way back to the very noodly cave that led me on that crazy adventure. These noodle caves are really cool. They're the slim ones where you have to kind of dig out blocks to get through. Yeah, it's this bit behind me that's probably a better demonstration of what the noodle cave feels like, although this didn't really lead anywhere. But yeah, it was up here on this mountainside that the entire adventure began. So, for a future project we're going to undertake, I need to expand the base and create a farm around the back here, and that'll give us some essential ingredients for a future project. You know how it is? It's all about the Minecraft tech tree. But before we can do some more building, I need to expand the area behind, which you can see that I've been doing by putting down a lot of stone blocks. Not all of them are the same though. We got slabs, we got stairs, we got patches of tuff and small little bits of andesite here and there too. And I'd perhaps consider around this area somewhat complete. This is kind of a throwback to my Season 2 base of Hermitcraft, which has always been one of those deeply inspirational ones, because I did the absolute mega grind outside of the Desert Temple and turned this into what is known as the Wastelands. So you might consider this the Wastelands 2.0. It's not going to be as big, but it is going to expand around this area, and we will fill it up with some more buildings. One of which we are going to create today, and it's going to go in that space, and then we can build a farm or two inside of it. But first of all, we've got something else we need to do. Since we're playing it old school this season, we need to create the old resource pillar that goes up into the sky and then mine it during a time lapse. So it wasn't the most impressive ore pillar I've ever seen, but we got tons of materials from it, which I put into this chest, and once crafted down, they take up way less space. I also realised I probably shouldn't have broken down the emerald ores, as they're probably more valuable as ore blocks. And that is simply just a rarity thing in case you ever want to use it in a build palette. Anyways, I took a trip out to the mining desert and almost died as a magma cube knocked me off this very dangerous pathway that we have going through the Nether. And I needed to head out there because my temporary little shack sold out all of the sand. So we made all of these diamonds right here, and I decided to restock it. And we made one more there. So I wasn't planning on selling sand and other materials, but you know, while the customers are rolling in, we'll keep this thing going. And I have also expanded our so-called wastelands again. As you can see, this is much bigger than it were last time. And now it's ready for me to do some building right there in the space behind me. We're going to expand our first build use these little connections right here to link it up to the second part of my starter base. And there we were, about to go into an epic time lapse as I build, and then I find out that I need to dig out a lot of space here because I kind of misestimated the height of the terrain. It was a lot higher, so I've come in here, ripped out all the stone and dirt. Aha, so, doesn't look very finished, right? And that's because it's not finished at all. I ran out of materials while making this. We need way more crimson stem to finish the build, and so only the front portion is really done. But here, you can see how it kind of connects from the one building to the other with this bit through here. And we will end up doing the same thing on the other side over here. We're going to have more of those little connections, bringing that through around to another building that'll sort of go around this spot. And honestly, I'm just really excited to talk about it, but I have to finish the build first, right? So one of the things that we didn't have early on when we took a trip to the Nether was my Silk Touch pickaxe. And what I needed to pick up was some of the warped nylium and some of the crimson nylium so that I could grow more trees. Why did I not think of this? And immediately I realised how stupid that sounds because I couldn't have thought of it because I didn't have Silk Touch when we first went out there and grabbed, all of that wood. So let's head into the Nether and get some. But it turns out that False actually has some of this stuff already, so we're just going to go and pinch some from her. And the way over to the other side of the lake is super interesting now because there's a little parkour challenge to cross it. Okay, watch me go. I'm going to ace it. First time. First time. Oh, got to stop a little bit. Ugh, almost lost the sprint. Oh my goodness me, I've done it. Oh, that was awesome. And so is this area here, actually. It's pretty amazing what they've done just outside of GigaPies. God, it's looking gorgeous here. Quite the opposite from my stony wasteland now that I think about it. And if you are unaware, this is False's base right here, the tree stump, or the stone tree stump, with the eagle from last season on the branch. Ah, look, there's a couple of blocks right here. And False has been kind to give us quite a few of each. Of course, once we mix it with some netherrack and some bone meal, we can get tons of this stuff. Then we can bone meal the nylium itself and get all we need to grow the trees. I'm going to make it back. I'm not going to fall in the water. Nope, not me, I'm a pro. Ah! God, and there's a trident guy down here. Early game, these guys are usually deadly, but now that I'm geared up, I'm going to attack him and try not to break the drip leaf as well, actually. And we didn't get the trident. Well, no bother, but now the building itself is finished, although this is just the base for like a tower that I want to put on top of it. And if we crawl around underneath this, you can see the back area has been done. And unfortunately, this thing like really squeezed in alongside the terrain, so there's this really nice arrangement of windows at the back here, but it's just looking out at a mountain. And not the good sort of mountain view like this. It's just looking straight out at the stone and dirt, which doesn't look so good, and maybe I'd change it because there's some more windows there. It does look a bit odd when you have those things right next to something like this. Now you might be thinking the connection here looks a little bit odd, and it's done here on the other side the same way too. There's a reason why it's higher up and not lower down, and there's that gap. This is because there's actually a way to traverse through the connected parts of my base here. If we go ahead and place a couple of blocks and then put in some ladders, you'll see that this gap can actually take us up to the roofed area, and you can actually walk through it into the next building. Obviously it needs a little bit of work, but this is how we get from one place to the next. And so now with this big empty room, we're going to put a farm in here that's going to help us get some blocks we need for a future project. Before I tell you what that farm is though, I think I need to figure out exactly how the layout is going to work. And it's important to get this right, as it's really going to be a bit of a squeeze here, but I've incorporated this so that we can go down into this basement area, and then we can go up to the middle, which is like a walkway between these two areas. However, it's also going to be where we can see the farm in action, and we're going to be building a bee farm, and it's going to be an amazing design, unlike any other you've seen before. And I'm possibly hyping it up a fair bit, but trust me, this is going to be a really good bee farm design. And this is where the bees are going to sit on top of these azaleas and do their pollinating. Right there, so it's in the area behind that we have to fit all the redstone mechanics and gizmos, and it's just all going to squeeze into this space. Now, we've got the iron for the hoppers that I'm going to need. I can craft up some droppers. I need to go to the skeleton farm for some dispensers, and there's a few other things I need too. So while I'm taking care of that, we'll hop over into a creative world and explain what this farm is all about. So, as we say in this community, credit where credit is due. I found a fantastic video from IanX04 sharing this wonderful concept. I'd never seen anything like it, and it's so good because it's compact, it's elegant, and it means you can get honey bottles from the bees without having to put a ton of bottles into your system, which is something that we did in Season 7, and boy was that a lot of work. So there'll be a link to their video in the description box down below. I highly recommend you check it out. It's really well made, a great tutorial that goes into the mechanics of how it all works and encourages you to try and come up with your own designs, which is sort of what I've done too. So thanks to the Vanilla Tweaks resource pack, we can kind of see the path that bottles are going to take through this farm thanks to the arrows on the sides of the block. That is actually the concept of the farm itself, because when the dispenser shoots out a glass bottle into the beehive, if there's no honey to pick up, it gets picked up by the hopper. If there is honey, then the honey bottle goes in here, and a honey bottle can be shot into a beehive that's full or empty and just appear in the next hopper along. So we create this chain where we can cycle through glass bottles and turn them into honey bottles. So I've created my own adaptation on this concept built for this space. It might look familiar because this would be the walkway that you saw a moment ago on the Hermitcraft server, and this is what our farm is going to look like. But if we have a look at the back area, we've got a redstone clock that goes over the top of all of the key components to keep activating the droppers and dispensers and sending through some water bottles, and I haven't actually put any more back in this system, it's used them all. And I just realised that I said water bottles. Of course, it's got to be glass bottles, otherwise it's not going to do anything at all. So one by one, these are very slowly going to be emptied. And this is actually a deliberately slow clock so that you can just leave it running in your world constantly. And the other key component here is an item filter. This is a technically breakable one, but because we have one item coming through at a time every so often, it means that you can just get away with this smaller design. And so there's the filter, and all the honey bottles go into the chest. And that's it, you can just leave it running round the clock, and your bees will create lots of honey bottles. It's a beautiful design, I love it. And remember to go check out Ian's video, because it really is fantastic. So now, my friends, we're playing the game of running around the server. I gotta find some bees, I've got some leads. I think I can make some more leads as well, because I do have a handful of slime balls somewhere. They're in the valuables chest, there we go. What I don't have, but desperately need, is a 2-tool flower so that we can use bone meal to make lots more flowers for breeding. And I've got a cheaty zoom key. I haven't seen anything like off in the distance yet. Oh, look at that, perfect spot. Oh, almost made it. Oh, and there's now a beautiful bridge. That wasn't there earlier. Well, I was about to say that's one of 4. Oh, there's all 4 here. Well, I've done this activity many times before, and so I'm not fussed just by picking them up from some of the other hermits. And I'm going to spam a whole bunch of these ones as we can use it for breeding the bees. Was this build here before? I'm not sure. I head over here and just find, you know, another gorgeous build, but that's Hermitcraft, isn't it? This is the one that I'm looking for. This is actually Doc's build, and I believe he had a few bees hooked up. Look, you can see there's a bee's nest up there. Ah, because I'm holding the flower, you came to me. Okay. I was trying to look for a way down there, but it's like, yeah, I can just sort of hold the flower and hang out. I think Doc might only have 1 bee, and I'm kind of reminded I do actually have Silk Touch now, so if I were to go exploring, I could just raid, you know, a bee's nest. Right, let's wander off in this direction. I believe I may be looking in the wrong place. In this biome, the birch forest one, I have a 0.2% chance of being on a tree, but then again there is like a heck of a lot of trees here. And there's an azalea tree here, that'll lead you down to the lush caves, which someone's already done. I'll tell you what, there is rooted dirt here, I'm going to snag that. There's quite a bit of it too, you know, this stuff is hard to farm with bone meal, making your own farm, but if you find them out in the wild, there's quite a bit of rooted dirt. Okay, the dark oak forest is no good because they don't generate in this biome. Well, I've had no luck, and it's not like I haven't gone exploring for a beehive before, so I asked the other hermits. Turns out Tango might have a few bees to spare. We are right in the correct spot. There it is. I could have literally spotted that a minute ago off in the distance, but I happen to not. Okay, there's loads here as well. I think this is going to be pretty easy. So if I open, then close the door like that, we get a handful out. Superb. I also need to breed up... Oh, God, wait, they're going in the one outside. I need to breed up some of Tango's as well. Okay, I also need to make a fence post. Whoa. I just found a bug. That's really, really weird. Alright, and now to breed a few of these up. So Tango still has the same amount. There we go, look at all those love hearts. Question, can you sleep in a bed when holding leads? I think the answer's yes. Yep, you can, that's cool. And if I hold the flower too, it makes them come along much easier than just dragging them with the lead. So we're going to use a combo of both here, and I definitely want to avoid those cacti. I am so woefully unprepared for this. I need to put them in a house, I need to breed them, I need to get honeycomb to make beehives. And I haven't even started on the farm itself yet. Okay, I've got them in a horrible temporary home, and we'll put a flower at the back so they can pollinate. And then all I got to do is breed them and leash them up for now. Oh, this is giving me a flashback to my modded series, Sky Bees. God, I had to mess about with those leaves and flowers so much in that one. So if I go out on the search for honeycomb, we can keep breeding them up, then I can make beehives and fill them all up, and then silk touch the beehives, move them into the farm that's over my shoulder. And we're going to do that in another episode just because I've kind of run out of time, and I'd really like to actually just get this episode out to you, as the next bit's going to be kind of super grindy. So you'll see it at the beginning of the next one, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to catch that. Leave a like to support the video, and I'll see you soon in another episode of Hermitcraft. Bye bye!